what we're targeting. And as he said, he's been in my boat many times, and he said he's not going to make it this year. And I said, well, who's going to catch all the fish? Because he's a very good angler. So tonight, like I said, I want to thank United Anglers because they're really kind of under the radar far as what they do for the red ear population in this lake. I mean, they put those brush piles out there, and I'll guarantee you, if you find those brush piles, they are a red ear magnet. Why? Huh? They're covered in mussels. Okay? I've crept up to some of those brush piles. I've looked down there and oh my Lord, they're just covered in mussels. So remember, we'll want to talk about where we fish for red ear, and it involves that. I've been here fishing for 10 years, and so I'm called the red ear master. And why I'm called the red ear master is because of the results my clients achieve, and the fact that I started red ear fishing the first time I ever caught one. I'm going, oh, okay, I'm going to concentrate on this fish, which I've done. So I start my red ear fishing way before anybody else does. And to get that longer season, that ability to find those red ear in the early season is what I specialize in. So I operate on the southern end of the lake. So I kind of stay in my own lane down there because there's plenty of fish habitat down there. I am not running all over the lake looking for red ear. I pretty much know where I need to fish. So my red ear season starts mid-February through mid-May. And then I'm concentrating on catching mostly till about first week of May, pre-spawn. And then as the water temperature warms up, then we'll switch to spawn and stuff like that. So what you're going to learn today is location. Okay, that's important. But I'm a fishing guide on Lake Havasu and been here for 10 years. I'm a guide, but I'm also a conservationist. Okay, so I want to talk about how we can conserve this. When
Advance your slide.
oh yeah, thank you. Two mindsets. If I catch it, I keep it. Right? If it's big, I'm going to kill it. It's my trophy. Big. Right, I'm going to kill it. So most of us grew up doing this. I grew up in Wyoming. This is what I did. I fed my family as a young man. So red ear have a fish fry mentality. That's just what they're born with. And so, let's see, get up there. Come on. They're great eating. There's no doubt about it. And it's about feeding families. I grew up feeding families, but now I'm more of a conservationist. They always have an argument. There are thousands of fish in the lake. Okay? So that's an argument. Keeping fish is normal. Well, what's different today? Whoop, I keep doing that. What's different today? We have better boats and electronics. We have more anglers. And like we're doing today, we're going to lay the foundation for you to catch more fish. More bigger fish. trophy fish become easier to catch. It's a great big thrill pulling up a 4-pound red ear. It's just a fish of a lifetime, people. Lake Havasu red ear are a national treasure. Nowhere in the world does this red ear have the same behavior as anywhere else. So, it's a national treasure. And so when I say that, what do I mean? I mean, I am totally booked out a year and a half in advance. And I'm just one guy. So 90 trips, 300 people with their families are coming here for one specific purpose. Trophy fish. But the red ear, they're not built like a bluegill.
Your slide.
Oh, thank you.
We'll get this.
Yeah, we'll get it. They grow slow. And the bigger ones are older. They have fewer successful spawns. Why would they have fewer successful spawns? Nice. But the biggest thing about successful spawns is water level. They spawn shallow. I have seen it many times where the spawning bed suffers a water drop and they're gone. That spawn is over. Where that group of fish is over. It's unsuccessful. So now each bigger fish matters because of the genetics that they carry. You know, it's really not emotion. It's biology. So what I practice, thank you. What I practice is selective harvest. Okay. All right. Harvest for the table, not the freezer. Don't get away. Try and get away from the limits. Get to the table. Feed yourself, okay? But not the freezer. So when we're selective harvest, we want these good keepers, smaller, younger fish, okay? Or fish that won't survive release. How do they not survive release? Deeper hooked. Okay? And then you're fishing with a worm out there. For Christ's sake, they're going to eat it. You know? And so harvest those. Harvest those smaller, younger fish. And that kind of gives you the guidelines on what to keep. Harvest has a place, but I'll tell you, most fishermen don't know this. 95% of fishermen don't know this. But you're going to know it tonight. Fish blood only congeals in water. If you cut yourself and you go underneath the water, you will bleed to death because you have no air to congeal your blood. You cut a fish, take him out of water, he will bleed to death because he has no water to congeal his blood. Isn't that amazing? So the age-old adage, oh, we kept him because he was bleeding. Oh, yeah. He's bleeding all right, he's out of the water. A simple release of a cut fish back in the water instantly. Just like us, we'll congeal our blood. And that can give you another structure for keeping fish. Fish worth letting go. Bigger, older fish. The biggest threat to red ear population in Lake Havasu is spawning fish. Mom, dad, 2 kids come across the spawning bed. The limit is 25. You can imagine what's going to happen. We're going to have a fish fry and we're going to invite the neighborhood. That spawn, that population just missed out on another generation. So, selective harvest makes sense. And this lake is stressed, and I've had many conversations about it tonight. The striper population is stressed. The smallmouth population, according to the bass fishermen that I know, is stressed. Okay? If the red ear population by any means suffers stress, we will have a biological nightmare you wouldn't even believe. Red ear control the coagular mussels. They eat 25% of the total population of year. If that varies, even by 5%, good God almighty. I mean, they're everywhere. And they grow fast. And they grow from 2 to 30 feet. So, selective harvest works. It's beneficial for everyone. This is important to me. Kids and grandpas, grandkids, they get the trophy too. You know what cinches a kid's lifelong commitment to fishing? One of those, you know, they will be in that for the rest of their life. And the lake stays fun. And we can go out and we can catch quality red ear fish consistently. So it's not crowded with a bunch of rules. You know, we don't want a bunch of rules. We want to go have fun. So the lake has changed. And I don't know, I've been talking with longtime fishermen here, and they all talk about how the lake used to be. They really do. One right there. How the lake used to be. So the lake has changed, and it's changed. Electronics, they're easier to find now. This is absolutely a game changer. Game changer. Live scope. You can see them. You can spot them. You can fish them. If you can see them and they can't see you, you're going to catch them. So we have got more technology, so the fish are easier to find. Fish don't get a break like they used to. We're out there in full force.
Oops.
Uh-oh. What happened there? So, you know, we're talking about going out and catching red ear, and we go to the same spots, we repeat the same, we go again. We caught fish there, we're going there again. So, the same fish seen a lot of different days, and we're fishing with a worm. Why do red ear eat worms? There's no worms in Lake Havasu. Why do red ear eat worms? It's instinction. They cannot turn down worms. It's instinction. So, if we're fishing for the same fish, you know, and we're catching that same fish, stress is going to add up on that fish. Trying in this portion of this seminar is really stressed to you knowledgeable fishermen. Each and every one of you is here because you can catch fish. and you want to learn how to catch fish better. If you can selective harvest and keep the red ear a national treasure, because it's under a threat. And not just from us, we're not the bad guy. We're not all the bad guy. But I'll guarantee you, when California has found out that this fish, this red ear, eats coagular mussels, they show up with an electronic shocking machine, and what do? They take 163 medium, I love the way they said that, medium red ear. What the hell, why don't you just tell me how big you took them? Instead of giving me something that's so abstract, you know? So, when California decides that 163 can become 1,000, and they can sell them to different states, and this population of red ear becomes a cash cow, we're in trouble. They're doing it right now. They will come shot here shortly. Oh, they're not doing the lake any harm. They're not doing the lake any good either. So stress. The bigger fish pay the price first because they're the first ones to go.
Computer.
These fish fight hard. How many have ever caught a red ear here? All of you? Man, when they turn, so I have to teach my clients how to fight a red ear. Now, that may sound funny to you, but it's really not true. Those suckers, those big suckers turn sideways and they go, they got this, every little, wham! Boy, they dive down and they're sideways. Bye-bye line. You have to learn how to fight them. Give the fish drag. These fish stress easily, especially when they're getting close to pre-spawn and spawn. And they don't relocate fast. Recover takes longer. So this is just all more reasons to support the fact that I support selective harvest. But, well, fish the same lake, we all want to have good days. We all want to, you know what the difference between a fishtail and a fairy tale is?
Nothing.
That's how they start. Fairy tale starts out with once upon a time. Fishtails start off like this. Hey, this ain't no shit, but one day. Now, of all the years of me monitoring fishtails, they've evolved. Now, it's, hey, this ain't no shit, but one day, got a camera involved. So you want to get that picture. You want to get that picture of that big fish. And the only way we're going to keep big fish is selective harvest. Lake Havasu, world famous red ear, are a national treasure. So the pressure is shared. We go to the same spots because that's where they're going to be. And the solutions are shared. You're the solutions.
Computer.
Oop. We all want those good days. So the little where we fish, how long we fish, what we keep, and what we release. That's what selective harvest. That's the little choices each and every one of you can make to ensure that you're catching quality red ear consistently year after year after year. Me, I've changed. My clients seek trophies, and that's what they come for. I am one angler who's changed, but I'm not changing the lake. You guys are. You will change the lake by the choices you make. what you keep and what you release. So this sets up everything else. We'll get into location decision, gear choices, handling techniques, and conservation that works. So this sets up the background for you to start knowing where to fish.
You went like 3 forward.
Simple gear. This is a classic, this is my classic Redear fishing. What's important about that? What's important about this, me holding this rod up like that?
Balance.
Yeah, and light. Okay? You want to choose light, medium action spinning gear that has a little bit of backbone. See how soft that tip is? But it has that third guide right down there. That's where it starts to bend back, and that has the backbone that can handle the other bruisers you're gonna catch. Because you're gonna catch bigger fish than red ear. You're gonna catch bass, you're gonna catch striper, you're gonna catch catfish, you're gonna catch a lot of fish. And so this is kind of tough. So light is good to fish all day. Okay? So this is not complicated. It's really, 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 really simple. And simple is better. You know, when I come across red ear fishing, I'll tell you what, they're always looking for the silver bullet. You know what I'm saying? This is the secret weapon. Guess what? Drop shot is the secret weapon. It's without question simple, it's easy to fish, and it's so effective. There is no difference between technique on a 3/4 ounce red ear than a new world record. It's the same system. It's effective, it's simple, and it works. This is what I use. And you notice it's pretty reasonable, it's a combo. But as a combo, I find it to be totally top quality that my clients can handle and fish with all day long. It's I don't want to talk about it because you can see it up there. You don't need expensive. This is a lose. How many guys have had experience with lose? Yeah, they've come in under the table, had a little downturn with quality, but man, their quality is up and high, top tier. And it works really, really, really good. So this is a 7 foot, I gotta read it, medium light, fast taper. Its line weight is 6 to 12. So it's paired with this reel. So it's balanced that way, and it's light enough to handle bass, red ear, and anything else that you can throw at it. And we've caught 19-pound carp with this. You know, so it can handle it.
What series is that reel?
This is a 20.
20?
And so this combination suits me well too, because they have a 30, which fits into my striper fishing. So anyway, not telling you to buy it, but I'm just telling you what I use. Okay. Line matters more than you think. High visibility yellows. Okay. my clients can see this in the water. It's 30-pound test. Why would I use 30-pound test?
Abrasion resistance.
Good answer, but no. I use it because my tippet is 8-pound test fluorocarbon. 30-pound braid has the same diameter as 8-pound test fluorocarbon. When you tie your knot and you have equal diameters, you create a better knot. So, another reason, why would we use high visibility? Wouldn't the fish see it? We got a tip with that fluorocarbon. I got news for you. Fluorocarbon is invisible underwater. When you work with it as much as I do, it's invisible above water too. You know, that the high visibility line allows my clients and you, once you get used to detect bites. Okay? So, we join that fluorocarbon leader with an Alberto knot. After the program, I'm going to tie one for you. I mean, you can go online. This is where I got it. Online, and you can learn to tie an Alberto knot. Okay? So, it is a small diameter knot, and it's really, really, really effective. So, I have this tippet joined to this. How long do I make it? I make it 2 rod lengths long. So the knot goes from the reel up to the line, to the tip, and then back to the drop shot. So that's about 2 lengths of the rod. That way I don't have a leader crisis every time I might break off. I can retie. But once I get that Alberto knot and that high visibility fluorocarbon too close to the drop shot, I'm going to add more leader. And you know, pay attention to the details, and you'll have much better fishing. Catching, you'll have much better catching. And I'll tie this when at the end of the program. And it's a fairly easy knot once you get get it down. I'll tell you what, if there's anything that has made me more successful as a red ear fisherman, it's this hook. This hook is a Berkeley Fusion hook. It's a size 6. Good God, that's small. Why would I use such a small hook?
So you get the whole thing in their mouth.
Bingo! When that red ear comes up there, and he's going to move 5 to 10 feet to get that worm. But when he comes over there, he's going to suck that worm in, and that hook is going in there right behind him. Okay? Coated. They put a finish on that hook that if that fish turns sideways, it's in him. It's easier, and it's extremely sharp. It's easier to put a needle in a 2x4 than a 10-penny nail. When that fish sucks that worm in, that hook is in there. And even if the client doesn't feel it, and the fish turns sideways, he's hooked. It just goes right in them, just like a needle into a 2x4. Boom! It's in there. Let's see. I find this hook to be exceptional in hookups, landing, and overall performance. Who can tell me when Arizona became a state?
1912.
That's a package of Berkeley fusion hooks. And like I said, I think it is creates more hookups than any other hook that I've ever used. Drop shot. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's all over the internet. You can learn how to tie it. It's the most effective technique that you can use for Redear, and it's simple. And children, ladies, can all learn to use it really, really, really simple. So, the weight. The weight, when I'm in pre-spawn, I'm fishing 12 to 14 inches above the bottom, okay? Redear are bottom oriented. Why?
Muscles are on the bottom.
Huh?
Muscles are on the bottom.
Yeah. Muscles are on the bottom. So you got this thing up there dangling about 14 inches. It's in their face. They will move 5 to 10 feet to hit that worm. But when they get over there, they don't bang it. When you feel a bite, that is the worm hitting the back of their mouth. And it's nothing fancy. So I use 1/4 ounce weights. In, I don't know, 5 to 15, 20 feet of water, if I'm fishing that deep, just to have that feel to it. If I'm fishing shallower in a spawn situation, I drop down to an 1/8 ounce, and I drop this length from 12, 14 inches to about 4 or 5. I want it right down there on the bottom. So if I find fish in shallow water, okay, and I'm using an 1/8 ounce, I will also use a weightless worm. Deadly. In a spawning situation, throw a weightless worm out there and have it settle down, ain't gonna happen. Okay. So, drop shot is what I normally use. If I'm in a situation and the clients are catching fish, I dead stick. What is dead sticking? I just throw a worm out there and leave it on the bottom. Got a couple tricks with it. I use a full worm. Hook it in the tip. I'll show that more of that later. And I throw that worm out because when he hits the water and he's down on the bottom, guess what he's doing? He don't like it very much. So he's squirming and wiggling and stuff like that. I have seen many, 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 many times a Redear move on a worm. And they go over there fast because their buddies will get there before they do. They'll go over there and then all of a sudden they go. They're looking at it. They're looking at it. Eat it! And they'll sit there for 5 or 10 seconds and then that's it. There's nothing else. They suck that in. So, crappie jigs work too. I used to be sponsored by Born to Tie Jigs, and they literally saved my season one year because of turbid water, muddy, a little muddy, and fishing with born to tie jigs. The company went out of business, so I have some jigs. But if you search crappie jigs and you find some color combinations, much similar like this, who can tell me what Arizona means? Means Little Springs. Okay, who can tell me what Havasu means?
Blue water.
Who said that? Right back here.
Thank you.
So, crappie jigs can be a viable search pattern. When you're looking for Redear, you can use crappie jigs because they're easily fished and they're more rapid. So, crappie jigs are kind of cool because when I use a worm for drop shot, I cut the tip of the tail off to put a little fin in the water. And I'll talk more about that, but that's beside. So I got a little piece of worm. Not that big. Okay? So I take a crappie jig, and take that worm, and I'll hook that worm right in the middle with that crappie jig. Okay? So it's got two little arms. All right? So I make sure that those arms are equal. I actually cut the worm and, I'm detail oriented, what can I say? So I cut the tips of them off, and I make them even. And when that thing is going through the water, it's got two little worms, two little legs. What do you think I'm imitating? Yep. Redear will not turn down an adolescent crawdad. And so, fishing, searching, one side of the boat can use drop shot, use some crappie jigs in your search. Bing, 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 bounce it across the bottom, reel it a couple times, got those legs working. Pretty effective. And I'll tell you one thing about crappie jigs that I really like. You hook them on the bottom, you got that braid, and you got about 8-pound test, and you just grab that and just pull that a little bit, and that hook will straighten out. And then you just bend it back, and it's plenty good for a Redear. But don't forget that the drop shot is the secret weapon. It will catch more fish. But if you want to search, crappie jigs can be a viable option for you. Drop shot is by far more effective. So, they don't hammer that thing. They don't feel, it's a mushy feeling many, many times. And that mushy feeling, they already sucked it in and you got some slack in your line and you don't see it. But that line moves sideways 1 inch, it's a fish. Okay? And that line that I told you, that high visibility line, is really, really, really important when you get into a wind situation, a little breeze. Well, we all fish in wind, so that line forms a C, just like this. Whatever way the wind is blowing is going to form a C. That C straightens out 1 inch, it's a fish. So, drop shot. I have a lot of clients come to the boat. The biggest error in drop shotting is over jiggling. So you got that worm in it, water pressure is forming it to be sprayed out, or water pressure forms it to be out there. And so when you jiggle a drop shot, you're giving it a little seductive dance down there. But I have seen this too. Fish runs over, sees that worm, that's over jiggling, he's gone in a heartbeat. I've seen it on live scope. They come over to that thing, don't jiggle it. No, don't jiggle it. And so, it'll scare them. So, the lightest jiggle is the most effective. And how I teach my clients how to jiggle, point your finger at me. Tell me I'm a bad man.
You're a bad man.
Yeah, this is it. You're a bad man. So this is how I teach my clients how to jiggle. You're a bad man. And that's got that little teeny just cadence that keeps it seductive. You're a bad man. I don't go repeat it if you have to. I don't care. I'm immune because I am a bad man. But so teaching your boatmates, people in the boat, don't over jiggle. The lightest jiggle is effective. Okay. What's that picture of? Mussels, right? How deep do you think that stick is? Where I got it. That stick was in 35 feet of water. Okay? Redear are bottom oriented. Hard bottom sticker rock. What does sticker rock do? Snags you. If you're not getting snagged, you're not fishing for it. You know? But, talk about stick and rock. Oh, I wanted to make sure you understand that mussels don't grow on grass. So many times people get in the boat and they say, well, look over, oh, we're going to go fish the reeds? Nope. There's no mussels in there. They're not going to feed where if there's no mussels, they're not going to be there. Some little bit, but for the most part, stick and rock. That's where you want to be. Anything that can snag you is where you want to be. If you feel grass on your wake, you're in the wrong location. Fish backwards. So you're searching. You're searching for Redear. This is a cove. So you fish backwards. In the upper third of that diagram there, that's kind of where they spawn. Very rarely have I ever seen them spawn against the reeds. Just not the right kind of habitat for them. They spawn in rock. So you want to fish the main lake point, secondary point, reeds, just to look around in the reeds. Because sometimes those Redear, they will get in there and they're sunning themselves. They're warming up. If you see a Redear and he sees you, you can't catch him. They're too shy. So if you see a big Redear on the corner of a reed in there, get the hell out of there and come back an hour and a half later with a weightless worm. Put it in that spot. Okay? So, searching. Main lake point, secondary point, main lake point. What's down the middle? Structure. Fish structure. You guys know what fish structures are in Lake Havasu, don't you? Okay. The middle requires good electronics. live scope, because you want to be looking where those structures are. Structures are stationary, they're static, and they will contain mussels, and they can be effective. But for the most part, they're so snaggy that I stay away from them. But it doesn't stop me from going down the middle once in a while. Or this point has a fish structure out there. Okay? So you can come in, instead of fishing the point, you get on the point and fish out. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you find these fish, and this is the lee side, when I say the lee side, you guys know what I'm talking about? The windlass side. The red hair kind of are fat and lazy. They love to get on the lee side of points.
How deep are you usually fishing around those points?
Well,
How deep are you usually fishing around those points?
Well, 17 to 2 feet. Yeah. I mean, I can go fish 30 feet, but God, is it boring. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Now I want to say something about the cove too. Okay. In those coves, remember I told you there's grass in there. Okay. If you go into a cove and you see grass and they look dark. Okay. In between those there's a pile of grass over here and a pile of grass over here. And sometimes in the backs of those coves, they got paths through them and they're white. With some kind of sand or something builds up, and those red ear will get in those sand highways. But it's shallow enough water that you can see them. Okay? If you see them, they see you. Okay? Leave them alone. Come back in 15, 20 minutes. Give them a chance to calm down. You know where they are. So when you throw your weight out, you feel the grass because it's dragging a little bit. Okay? As soon as you stop feeling the grass, that's where one of those paths are. Just a clue. Okay. Shallow rocky points, shallow rocky points. Look at that. Man, is that just red ear central. We've got a hump over here, got a long point. Okay? That is where I would look. Okay, see this side? Kind of steep, right? Okay? Red ear love verticals. Why? Those mussels grow on that sidewall. All they have to do is move up and down, and they can feed on that pretty easy. So don't be shying away from these closer lines. This one says it's 22 feet out here, probably 16 in there. Okay, I want to show you this other one. Humps.
Keep going back.
Rocky
One
Point.
more.
One more?
That's the one you just did. Humps was first.
Yep. Okay. That's the hump. Where's the points? Okay. Sorry. I'm on that. All
You
right,
already
let me
did
just
that
keep
one.
going. Water temperature predict fish location. Most of the time in February I'm fishing, if I'm monitoring temperature at 56 degrees, the fish are moving up and they're shallow and they're feeding. When they're feeding, what do? They swim constantly. They're patrolling the shorelines until they find something that's advantageous for them, which is mussel beds. Will they be there in an hour? Maybe not. We call them, anybody that's fished for Redear, call them gypsy fish. They move. Okay? So that last point I showed you, I fished that yesterday. Yeah. So I go back in there, maybe I'll try it, day before, and I'll fish it again, nothing. So it's all about timing. So you can go to a really good point, hump, they won't be there. Fifth time you go there, they're all over it.
You skipped about the
I
eighth.
did something.
There,
The other one.
you're going the
Oh,
wrong
this
way.
is the one I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Okay. If you don't have this, get it. Navionics, by Garmin, on my phone, it's an app. Okay? Well, I got electronics, I don't need that. This thing can allow me, my app can allow me to sit in my living room and go on the lake and find structures where I should check. Okay, it costs $50 a year. I want to talk about this one more. When does a fish spawn? Anybody know the temperature when fish spawn?
About 70.
Yes. 70, 72. When that temperature is 70, 72, better be patrolling the shallows. Okay? Sometimes you can't even see them. All right? You can't see the beds. What helps me determine when fish are shallow? If I catch two males on back-to-back casts in the same area, they're spawning. If that water temperature is 72 and I catch two males, they're spawning in there. You may not see the nest. Why is the sunfish called the sunfish? Anybody know?
They spawn in the sun.
They must have sunlight on their nest to be successful. But literally, many, many times, I will not know they're spawning. I can't see it. Water's funny, the waves are goofy or something, and there's just no refraction in the water. I catch two males back to back. They're spawning over there. Oh,
oh, the video went away.
the video went away. Well, I'll just talk about it. You know, the worm is pretty important, okay? All right. I don't know about you, but there is nothing worse than worm dirt. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is nothing worse than worm dirt. If you take a package of worms on the boat with the worms in the dirt, that dirt just migrates. It just goes everywhere. So I wash my worms. Yep, I do. Yeah. Take them out, dump them in a cardboard pot thing, take them out, put them in water, put them in a Tupperware, put a rag on top of them, put them in the Tupperware, put them in my little cooler. I got one of those artificial ice things in the bottom, and I put that on my, and I eliminate the dirt. Good God Almighty, because it'll go everywhere you want to, and I just can't stand it. So I wash my worms, and it just makes sense. And I have a clean worm to fish with every time I reach in there and grab one. So, You've caught 2 males in a row. Well, they're spawning over there. The males guard the nest. They're the ones that guard the nest. And they're also the smaller ones. Quite hard sometimes to take clients away from the spawning bed out and pursuing the bigger females. Females are only in there one day and they're gone. So I used to advocate that you only catch and keep males. I have changed. Males guard the nest. The biggest predator to the nesting area is what? Anybody have any idea? Huh? Maybe. It's a carp. Yeah, it's a carp. But these spawning areas are not by the reeds. If there's one thing that I can tell you, that over the years of me finding spawning beds, they're in rock and stick. And they're shallow, good God. They might have that much water over their head. They'll get under bushes, they'll get up in there, and they'll just be just, oh, wait, tonight's the night. You know? But I recommend getting the navionics. So we wash the worm, and the worm is important. Okay, this is ready to fish. See my hook? It's hooked in the head of the worm. Why? Huh? What?
So we have to pull glue.
Yeah, you're right. But the worm, the head of the worm is the toughest part of the worm. Does that make sense? I'm hooking in the toughest part. Okay, you see this? I cut off a section. Before. Sink in the water. Yeah. So that's ready to go. So the worm is important. And I might say that if you're fishing a worm and you get a kink in it, straighten it out. Keep it straight. If you get it kinked and curled, I don't know what those Redear are, they? Oh, that doesn't look right. Quite often, missed bites. Oh, I think I had a bite. Oh. Well, you missed that bite. Okay. Get that worm right back in the same area. That Redear wants that worm. So sometimes I just tell my clients not to jiggle. I throw that drop shot out there, and I'll just pull it tight so that the line is tight, and the water is sitting there jiggling it by itself. I'm not giving it any extra action. I'll tell you 8 times out of 10, I'll catch that missed fish just by doing that. Oh yeah, this is a good one. I taught you about drop shot. This is male. I'm going to show you how to set something here real close. Okay, common mistakes. So you're searching for Redear. The biggest mistake fishing for Redear is casting too far. Okay? So here is my hook. That's right here by my hand. I'll just show you. And the weight is down here about 12 inches. Okay? So it is really effective right there. See how it's off the bottom? If I throw that 30 feet, that becomes this. Oops. That becomes this. The weight's here and the hook is on the bottom. Really remember, shorten your casts. Be effective, just make more casts and be it that way. Okay? Drop shot works best with shorter casts. And drop shot has that weight on the bottom, and it can be problematic. So I've adapted my high-tech weight keeper, and that's a rubber band. If you go drop shotting, you must have a rubber band on the handle to contain the weight. Otherwise, you're going to have a mess you won't even believe. Then you don't hook the weight or the hook to any heat keeper because you got the weight running around. Put a rubber band on there and go from there that way. Biggest mistake is casting too far because you want to cover more water. But when you throw that out there a long way, the hook gets closer to the bottom and it gets snag. Okay, kind of important. Is it male or female? Because if you're going to involve yourself in selective harvest, you kind of not want to know what species you're catching. It's really, really, really simple. And 5 minutes? Okay, I'm going to button it up here. Okay, so this is a male. See the one hole? See the female? See the difference? Instantly you can tell. Instantly. And they have a color change. Remember I showed you that black one back here? That's a male. See how black it is? That, I call it tuxedo. All right. Choose the right depth. You choose the right depth by experience. Use the lighter gear. Slow down. If you have a missed bite, you have a strategy for it. Keep it fun. Anybody have any questions?
The worm that you showed me, the hook, do you leave the tip embedded in the worm, or is it going clear through?
Yep, put it through. Yep.
Repeat the question?
Oh, sure.
No, repeat the question.
Oh, he asked me if I embedded the worm into the hook. No, I bring it out.
If your fish, you want to let go, it's got a hook in him. Is leaving the hook in the fish, will the fish survive, or he will it die later? A lot of times they swallow really deep with a hook.
Yep. Keep them. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Don. Why doesn't the game and fish lower the limit?
Okay, that's a good question.
Do you know?
Yep, I do know, because I've been in their face. Okay? California wants a limit of 25. Arizona wants a limit of 10. Arizona does not want to fight California. And here's what California says. You don't have the expertise to catch 25. That's what they said to my face. Okay?
What's the best time to start fishing daybreak? Noon?
Afternoon, more wind.
Afternoon?
More wind. So you got the sea. Remember the sea I was talking about? You got the sea. So if you have any experienced fishermen, then that's a little bit more difficult. In the morning, when you have calm conditions, you can catch them. You know, and we can. It's just nickel and dime. There's no better way.
Will you repeat
Oh, I
each
keep-
question
I'm sorry.
for the video?
Okay, so the question was, what's the best time to fish for Redear? And I say, afternoon has a little bit more wind, and that will cause that sea in that line, and it's a little harder to detect bites. Morning is a little bit calmer, and you can catch them year round. I mean, any time of the day. If they see that worm, they want it. Anybody else?
So where do the females go after they leave the
After they leave the nest, they move back out to the main lake points, start their feeding. That's pretty funny because, you know, after May, targeting red ear is a little bit difficult. How come? Nah, they're out there feeding on their mussels, and so they're about in the same spot. But when you're fishing the shallows and you got a worm, you got this spring spawn in there too. And it's very, very hard to keep that worm against that, away from that 3 to 2 inch fish. You'll catch 60 of these before you catch a red ear. Anybody else?
I've heard that if you, if a fish does take the hook deep, and, you cut the line and he's not bleeding when you got him, that you can cut the line that the body comes to where the vegetables will go off the hook, is that true?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Just because you hook a fish deeper does not mean that he will die. But it's a good strategy that he may die, and so you can keep him as sort of as a structure for what fish to keep. Toothpaste, what is the best scent to take away human scent on your hands? Toothpaste. Wash it, done. Use it all the time. When this person can catch a fish and this person can't catch a fish, toothpaste, a little travel toothpaste, put a dab in their hand and wash it. Well, I mean, you can pick, if anything, they'll take away your scent. That'd be great. It's just a little bit more oily.
Yeah, can I have one question? What's the lake gonna be in 10 years from now?
The lake is stressed. It really is. We've lost a whole generation of stripers, whole generation. Smallmouth, I'm not a bass guy, so don't pin anything on me, but I got lots of friends who are bass guys, and the smallmouth, they resort are stressed. So they're worried about that, and all I'm saying is that water temperatures lasting from May till November are problematic in the stressing of the lake. It's just the way it is. One more question.
Since you're a striper guy, why do they feed the trout up in Mohave and not down here?
Different state.
No. They're doing it in Mohave,
Yeah, which
which is Arizona.
yeah. So that's the tail water.
Yeah.
So they'll put trout in there,
They're dumping tons of it.
but they don't put trout below Davis down. I mean Parker down. I don't know the question behind that. That's kind of a funny kind of like, you know, I want to tell you one thing. There's private logic, there's government logic, and there's corporate logic, and none of them are even related. All right, I want to, if I had time to show how to tie Alberto, may not have that. And one more question. Fish equally distributed through the whole lake, or are they concentrated in the south? There's probably 50,000 red ears, never even seen a worm.
What about upriver?
Huh?
What about above the lake,
Upriver?
upriver?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. Below, these red ear have learned to eat the mussels, so they would be big. One more.
Just real quick, when I was a kid, we used to fish Isabella for red ear, and they always hit these little tiny white, those little bitty white jigs with the little red dot on the end.
Yes,
How come they don't work here?
they do work here.
Really?
Yes. What color, what is this water?
Clear.
No, it's alkali.
Alkali.
White shows up like a neon sign. All right? In your crappie jigs, don't be afraid of putting white out there. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had a good time.